Tottenham fans. Today I want to talk about individual players. Sometimes we get players that come in the door and fans automatically love. Some players come in and fans turn on them straight away. And some players just fans find it hard to get on board with. There's always some players though that divide the fan base. And today I want to talk about some of our fringe players. For example, there's a lot going around on Twitter saying, did Tel ruin his chances to impress the Spurs fan base versus Doncaster? My opinion on Brennan Johnson was he played well against Doncaster, but there was no consistency with him, and I'll explain what I mean in a bit. Has Archie Gray shown enough that he could be trusted to play first team football in the Premier League now? I'll give you my opinion on that. And are people now starting to warm to Palhinha? Because when he first joined the club, that signing was divided too, by the way. And I want to get your opinion on whether you didn't want him at the club, but now are starting to warm into having him here. All that in today's video. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I'm not that far away now from 3,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that contributes to this channel. It's really much appreciated. Hit that like button if you are starting to warm to Palhinha. So let's get into it, and let me just start with Mathis Tel, because he is the most talked about, I'd say, Spurs player at the moment, especially since the Doncaster game. And did he miss his chance to impress the Spurs fan base? In my opinion, it looked to me, and this is my opinion, and obviously you've all got your own opinions, and you can tell me in the comments if you agree with me or not. But in my opinion, he was trying way too hard, in my opinion. And if I look at the positives in his game, his movement was excellent. His movement was even excellent to open up doors for other players. So not just to receive the ball. There was a bit in the first half where Xavi was running through, and Xavi could have played it out to the left as Tel literally opened up the door for him to run into a space. He could have then gave it to Tel, but Tel was just a decoy, and Xavi knew this, and Xavi tried to get a shot off. It was intelligent movement from Tel in itself, and unselfish-like movement. Then the amount of times he got in the area in the box for Brennan Johnson's crosses. I think we'll get on to Brennan Johnson in a minute, but it was twice where Brennan Johnson got the ball on a plate for Tel, and Tel swiped at it and completely missed the ball. Now, he's either took his eye off it, he's trying too hard to go for power rather than accuracy. I don't know, only he can tell you. But twice that happened. And after the first time, it must have been in his head for the second time. And then once he missed it the second time, he wasn't getting in those positions again. And that goes down to confidence. If he banged in the first one, I almost guarantee you he would have banged in the second one. But again, he's a 20-year-old lad. Very young still. And there's a lot of people that will look at players in history and go, Rooney was only 16, Yamal's only 16, and all that crap I always hear all the time. Every single player is different, because you've got examples as well of players that didn't really make it until they got a bit older. Jamie Vardy, for a prime example, was playing non-league football in his 20s, and then he moved into the Premier League and did what he did. Then you've got like Harry Kane. Let's put it bluntly, when he was out on loan at Norwich and Leicester, it was crap. He was absolutely crap. And we almost sold him. He was slow. He wasn't scoring goals. There was so much criticism about him. But look what he turned out to be. And I'm not saying it's guaranteed if you give a player time, they're going to just become world-class players. But what I'm saying is there's lots of examples of players that started off not great, but then ended up world class. It can happen. There's lots of examples on the other flip coin as well of us overrating players and then them becoming nothing. So I understand both sides of the argument, but what benefit do we get from slagging off a player week in, week out because he hasn't scored a goal or he hasn't done what we in our minds think he should be doing? What benefit to the team, to the club, to us supporting him? What does that benefit. Like, you can say, I'm holding my club to account. Holding your club to account to what? We can't change anything till January, even if we wanted to. So what harm would it do just to get behind this lad and see what he can do up until January? And if he doesn't do anything and he ends up being a very poor player and very average player, he might turn out to be another Timo Werner. He may do that. Then we can say, look, we need to replace him in January. We need to get someone else in, and he needs to either go out on loan or he needs to be sold. But right now, this guy, you can see he's putting in 100% effort. It's 100%. You can see it a mile off. His movement's good. His work rate is great. His touch is probably not the best, but his link-up play was all right yesterday as well. And we was only playing Doncaster, which is another reason why people are screaming he's not good enough, because he couldn't do it against Doncaster. But again, Harry Kane wasn't doing it against championship teams, but he ended up okay because of his mentality to never stop learning, never give up. Tel seems like he's got the same sort of mentality as Harry Kane. Never gives up, never lets doubters creep into his head, never lets people slagging him off get him down. He goes out and tries 100% again. I think he's over trying at the moment. There is a player in there. Bayern Munich wouldn't have signed him otherwise. There is a player in there. But we just have to wait and see. And I'm not telling anybody that they're wrong for saying that he's rubbish. I'm not telling anybody. If he's having poor games and you're calling it out and it's constructive and you're saying he hasn't done this, he can't do this, blah, blah, it's fine. Like, I can't argue that, and I'm not defending him for playing poorly. I'm picking out bits that I think are positive about his game. But yeah, there is negatives in his game too. But what I'm trying to say is, I wouldn't just give up on him straight away. Not just yet. I wouldn't give up on him yet. I'd give him at least half a season more, and game time, because he's not getting much game time. He's not getting a run of games either. And that's not easy for a player either. But if he got a run of games and he still wasn't producing and he still wasn't showing us anything, then yeah, of course, we'd have to look at buying someone that can. And that's how football is. Football can be ruthless at times. Let's move on to Brennan Johnson. And what I mentioned at the beginning of the video, can we be consistent about Brennan Johnson? And what I mean is, when Brennan Johnson's bad, and he has been really bad, he has been awful. I watched him live against Bournemouth, and he made zero impact in that game whatsoever. Zero. Because he didn't score as well. He didn't assist, he didn't score. I don't think he even created a chance. I think he created one chance, I think, in that game. But as soon as he misplaced a pass or didn't get back fast enough, or, got tackled or lost the ball, you heard all the crowd groaning and moaning, and it was getting louder and louder, and his confidence was dipping and dipping. And he's definitely plays as a confidence player. So when he's playing poorly, fans have the right. They've paid the money. They've travelled far. They have the right to criticise and say he was poor, he was awful. When it gets to abuse, I do not agree with that for 1 second. I don't see the point, and I don't see what you gain from being abusive to one of your own team as well. I think it's nasty and I think it's cruel. But obviously, saying that he wasn't making an impact, that's not being cruel. You're just saying what you thought about the football match. Now, when I talk about being consistent, when Johnson does have good games, or when Johnson does play well, or when Johnson scores goals for fun, that positiveness, and you get the criticism, which is massive, and it's really bad on him. But when he does good things, it doesn't get half as spoken about. So be consistent. If he's good, say he was good. But don't just keep saying, don't just ignore that he was good, just to hide that he was good, so your agenda can keep going on for weeks and weeks about how bad he is. Because yes, we played against Doncaster. Yes, they're in League One. But he had a good game. And people were saying that he was poor, he was irrelevant, had done nothing. How? If you watched that game and you didn't have an agenda against Johnson, he put in 4 or 5 really, really good crosses. And if Richarlison and Tel did finish their chances, that would have been 3 assists, because he put 3 balls on a plate for them to. And if put it this way, I can almost certainly say if those 3 balls went to Harry Kane, he would have had a hat-trick that night. So is that Johnson being poor or the strikers not finishing? Because Johnson was putting in the balls, getting in the right places, linking up really well with Archie Gray, by the way, doing a lot of good 1-2s, and then getting into space and then putting the ball in the box. He was also taking on his man a lot more than he used to. His work rate was a lot better than it was before. Yes, it's all against Doncaster, and he needs to do this in the Premier League. And if he's awful again in the Premier League, I will point it out. But when he's being good, say he's being good. Don't just say he's being rubbish because you didn't really watch the game and you just thought, I'm just going to slag Brennan Johnson off again. Because if you're saying he was poor against Doncaster, then you didn't watch it and you've just got an agenda against him. That's just my opinion. If you in the comments think that Johnson was irrelevant against Doncaster, let me know, and let me know why you don't think those crosses were very good, why you don't think his movement was very good, and why you think taking on his man wasn't very good, because he did all of those things that we've all been crying out for. Yes, he has to do it in the Premier League. He has to prove it against better players. I understand that as well. Now, has Archie Gray shown enough he can be trusted? For me, I'm a massive fan of Archie Gray, so I'm going to be really biased about this. I think Archie Gray is a fantastic footballer. I think he's going to go to the very, very top. His against Doncaster, he looked a bit more bulkier, to be honest. He looked a lot stronger on the ball. He wasn't shoved off the ball as easy as he was last season. I remember the amount of times he got shoved off the ball was unreal. His distribution of the ball was fantastic yesterday. His gliding past players like they're not even there shows he's got skill to get past players as well. He was challenging for the ball, winning tackles, challenging in the air. He's probably not the strongest in the air, but he was still challenging for it. He was linking up well, like I said, with Brennan Johnson. He was putting through balls through. He was basically looking like Bergvall last season in this game. And when everyone was lauding Bergvall last season, but they're not lauding Archie Gray. They're both the same age, and he's doing the same standards what Bergvall was doing, but he's not getting the praise Bergvall was getting. You see what I'm saying there? So it's a bit of a mind blown for me, because he's played 2 games this season, Burnley and Doncaster. So he's only had 2 chances to impress, and I thought he was excellent in both games. He can only do what's in front of him, and he's shown to me, he's proven to me that he can be trusted in a Premier League game. He can be trusted in a Champions League match. He can be trusted. Remember, he's probably about 5th choice midfielder at the moment. Having a quality player like that as your 5th choice can only be great for squad. So for me, I think Archie Gray is getting better, and I think, and I called it before the season started, under Frank, Archie Gray is going to improve massively this season. It's probably going to be one of the most improved players this season. That's just in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Now, are you all starting to warm to Palhinha? Because when Palhinha signed for Spurs, I was absolutely over the moon. I love this player. I've always loved this player. I said when he was playing for Fulham, I wish he was playing for Spurs, especially when he played against us and tore our midfield apart. He wins the ball. He's passionate. He's got the experience that we all cried out for last season. He's just showed to us now that he can even fill in at centre-back. He's scored 2 goals this season already as well. And he just brings that calmness in our midfield to dominate a midfield. If we want to win that ball back, he will be the guy to win that ball back. It doesn't matter if he's not the best passer in the world, but if you watched him against Doncaster, he was doing quite a few good passes with that ball, and his pass completion rate was pretty decent too. So if you was in, let me know in the comments, if you was the guy that didn't want Palhinha in, but are now warming to him and realising how good this player is. And he's going to get better and better, by the way. He's in a new team, new manager, new environment. He's going to get better, by the way. And would you sign him for the £27 million? And we could get him in January, by the way. Would you pay that money for him to get him in January or in the summer or whenever it is? Because he's 30 years old. You can give him a 3-year contract, and I think he'll be an excellent addition to this squad. But let me know if you think you would sign him or not. I think he would be a no-brainer signing for me, especially for 27 million. You're not going to get a better DM for 27 million in the world. for what he does, for winning that ball back and progressing it to the players that can cause some damage. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. Let me know about what every single player I've spoke about today. I know there's a lot of people that won't agree with me on a few things, but that's fine. That's football. It's all subjective. It's not going to upset me or nothing like that, so don't worry. But yeah, just let me know. Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.